So the next one, it says the graph of the slope function of a cubic, and you're given the cubic where x is an element of R and A, B, C, and D are elements of Z is shown in the diagram below. So this diagram is actually the derivative. Okay, so that is your actual derivative. And would work. Okay, so okay, any minute now. So the slope function is the one that I've been given, and then I know that this came from this other function. So that's my derivative there. Now it says, given that f of 2 is equal to 0, find the value of A, B, C, and D. So they're basically telling you that if you were to fill 2 into the original, you're supposed to get 0. So that's my first thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to put 2 in the place of x into that original function. So not the derivative, but into the original. And the reason that I know it's the original is because there's no prime there. It's just f of 2. So I fill in my 2 and I let it equal to 0. So that ends up becoming 8a plus 4b plus 2c plus d equals to 0. Now, what else do I know? So that's my first one. And 8, yeah. So that gives me my first equation. So I'm just going to box that off. Then I'm going to have a look at my derivative here. Now, if I do differentiate what I have in front of me, like directly from this, my derivative would look like the following. It would be 3ax squared plus 2bx plus c. So that's actually what my derivative would look like. And by looking at the picture, I know, for example, the slope function has a point at 2/3 0, and I know that it also has a point at -2, 0. So I'm going to fill these in to my slope. So in here, into my derivative. So I'm going to have my 3a, my x is 2/3 to be squared, plus 2b, and again, that's 2/3, plus c, and that's 0. So I'm just working this out. That's going to be 4. So 3a is going to be 4 over 9. This is going to end up being essentially 4b over 3 plus c equals 0. So this is going to become 12a over 9 plus 4b over 3 plus c equals 0. Now I'm going to multiply this whole line by 9 so that I'm not dealing with fractions. So 9, it stays the same. This one needs to be tripled, and this is going to become 9. So my common denominator there is 9. So here we have another one that we can box off. I'm going to do the exact same thing now for the -2, 0. So the exact same thing, but I'm doing it for -2, 0. So anywhere there is an x now, I have -2. And I'm going to let it equal again to 0 because they are my x-intercepts. So that ends up being -2 squared is 4 by 3. So that's 12a minus 4b plus c equals to 0. Okay. Now, there's only one other thing, but it's an important link, and that is, where does it cross the y-axis? So it crosses the y-axis. Now, the slope function crosses the y-axis at 0, 4. So I'm going to do it one more time, but this time, when I go to sub it in, my x value, so look back at it again, my x value is 0, and my y value is 4. So the 0 goes in there. And that's equals to 4. So that's 0, that's 0. So I end up finding out that C is 4. Now, if C is 4, I can go back to both of these and replace my C. So that's going to be 36. So that's 12a plus 12b is equal to -36. So I'll just do a star on that one. I'm going to go back here and do the same. So I'm going to have 12a minus 4b, and I know C is 4. So I have 12a minus 4b is equal to -4, and I'm going to put a star on that. So now I can solve those simultaneously. The simultaneous should be easy enough because the figures match up nicely because I have a 12a in both. So all I have to do is change the signs across. They cancel, and that gives me 16b. Now, minus 36 plus 4 is going to be minus 32. Now, that ends up giving me that B, so 16, that's by 2, isn't it? Yeah, so that's going to be minus 2. So I know what, I know C is 4. I know B is minus 2. So I'm nearly there now. So I'll go back to one of these lines. So 12A plus 12B is equal to minus 36. So if B is minus 2, I can put that in there. So now I know that 12A minus 24 is equal to minus 36. So 12A is equal to minus 36 plus 24. So 12A is minus 36 plus 24. What's that? That is minus 12. So I now know A is minus 1. And I've only one last thing to do. So I know A is minus 1. And then I can go back and find D. So I have my A, B, C, and D at that stage. So I'm going to go back to my 8A plus 4B plus 2C plus D equals 0. So my A is minus 1, my B is minus 2, my C is 4, plus D is equal to 0. So that's minus 8 plus 8 plus D is equal to 0. They cancel, and D, and I move the 8 over, D is 8. So he is my last one. And again, 10 marks for that one. So my A, B, C, and D. And I'll finish that one there.